Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. Procrastination is selfish because time is a resource. Procrastination is selfish because time is a resource. I say that because we need to understand how valuable our time is, and we need to understand, and understand the importance of taking action as soon as possible. Now, we're going to break this down, right? We got procrastination is selfish, and then we have time is a limited resource. Procrastination is selfish because it does not just affect you. When we talk about procrastination in the root sense of it, right? Procrastination is us putting off a task or something that we need to get done or get started because we personally don't want to start, or we feel like we can't start, right? Because there is a clear difference between procrastination and simply having to start or complete a task at another time because we are busy, because we have allocated our time elsewhere that is also productive, right? If I need to do something for work, right? But it's a Friday afternoon and I know I want to go to be with my family, and my family is looking forward, like we've already made the plans. That is a healthy form of procrastination, because at the end of the day, your job, yes, is very important, but family is more important. So that is simply prioritizing the things that need to be done. At that moment, family is going to be more important, right? Procrastination, though, being selfish, comes when we don't have a validated reason, and not just internally validated, but a legit valid reason for putting off a task, right? Family over work, that is a valid reason. Procrastinating on starting your fitness journey because the time isn't right is not a valid reason. Because if you're always waiting for the right time to do something, you're going to be waiting your entire life, right? Life is going to always throw a monkey wrench in our plans. We plan, our enemies plan, but Allah is the best of planners. And just because you think something is right or you think something is the wrong time, as we all often experience, Allah may make us move. Allah will force somebody into a situation where growth is caused, right? Or growth is influenced, rather. Now, moving into how it is selfish, right? If I choose to procrastinate on doing something that is vitally important, let's say starting a business or giving charity, right? And quick side note, it is stated that when we go to give sadaqah, when we go to give charity, right, we are pulling that sadaqah out of the mouth of 70,000 shaitan. So that means that there are 70,000 shaitan that are influencing you to procrastinate. And of course, this is something that is not meant in terms of like in the physical world you're pulling it out, right? Let's use our intellect here. But in the unseen realm, that sadaqah is being pulled out of 70,000 shaitans' mouths, which means that if we do not have that intention and fully go through that intention, that means that the shaitan is keeping that wealth and we're procrastinating on it. Now, of course, we don't always intend to procrastinate. I am talking about intended procrastination, or intentful procrastination rather, right? So let's say I'm procrastinating on starting my fitness journey, and I go days, weeks, most people will go months, even years in the drastic scale of things on putting off that fitness journey. Guess what, right? Your family is suffering from that. Your friends may also suffer because guess what? You not starting that fitness journey, let's start with the wife, right? Because I'm always going to come from the perspective of a man who has a family to provide, protect, and lead. of course, because that's who I relate to, right? Being a husband, being a father. As a husband, your wife is actually going to suffer from you procrastinating. How is that the case, right? You might ask. You're going to actually have lower energy. You're going to be irritable. Your mood is going to be easily affected. And you're also going to have lower levels of libido, testosterone, right? So now your wife understands that you may not have the energy to complete tasks around the house or to play with your children, or simply to just hang out, enjoy each other, right? We're meant to have your spouse as a playmate, as a partner, somebody that you can go through life with and enjoy the halal things of this world. You're going to be easily irritable. So now something that started off as a slight disagreement may turn into a large exacerbated argument, and it didn't have to. Third, your libido is low, your testosterone is low. That's going to lower your ability to satisfy your wife's needs and actually your obligation to satisfy those needs. And no man wants to be in that position where you feel inadequate or unable to perform the duties as a husband, right? Nobody wants to be in that position. But if you're putting off your fitness and you're putting off your health, it may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but at some point you're going to see the effects. And every day that we procrastinate is going to be one step closer in the wrong direction. And as Muslims, we always want to be progressing. We always want to be elevating, you know what I mean? Not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, financially. No man should want to stay the same his entire life, right? That's not a life conducive to growth. That's not a life conducive to progress. Now, think about that. So by you procrastinating on your fitness journey, you're not only affecting your wife, but you're affecting your child, your children. You're affecting your family members because they see you. And if you're getting overweight, if you're obese, or if you're having these adverse health effects, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, you name it, right? All of these things your family sees. Your family knows that something is not right. And these are things that have such negative effects, and they can cause death. Let's be real here, right? Of course, as believers, we are not meant to fear death, but you do not want to put yourself in an early grave. You know what I mean? You don't want the reason that you're having medical bills or extensive health issues, potential early death, because you didn't do something as simple as take your health seriously, right? Your body has a right over you. And one of those rights is that you need to take care of it. It is a gift to you from Allah. And on the day of judgment, our body parts will speak to that which we did with it. And it'll speak on the sins that we committed. So if you're being gluttonous, you're overeating, you know what I mean? You're not keeping up your health. That's a sin, brother. That's a sin. And that's something that we can easily avoid. Of course, everybody has their struggles in life, but we don't need to let our health be one of them. You know what I mean? If you're predisposed to a disease, or you have a genetic condition, that's a little bit different. But we can still fight those things by taking our health seriously and taking it seriously now. Not 6 months from now, not a year from now, not when the doctor tells you that you have to, but rather taking it upon yourself, right? Let's start that journey. That way we're not procrastinating and hurting those around us. You don't want to have a death or be in a position where you say, man, I could have prevented this if I just got started sooner, right? So that leads me to saying time is a limited resource. This is self-explanatory, but of course I'm going to dive into it a little bit. You can always make more money. You can always make other resources, but time is a limited resource, and you don't know how much you have. You know what I mean? Even as I'm recording this video, I could die today. I could die tomorrow. I don't know how much time I have, but I do know that the time that is allotted to me, I want to make sure that I make the best of it. I want to, on the day of judgment, be in front of Allah and say, Allah, I did the best to make the most out of my time. I was productive with it. We are instructed as Muslims to be productive with our time and not to waste it, because there are two things that the believer will be tricked out of wasting, and that is good health and that is their time. We should not take either of these lightly. We are instructed as Muslim men to be strong leaders, to keep up with our health. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was in shape well into his 50s. Come on now. He was in such good physical shape that he would wrestle the Sahaba, that he would be prepared to fight in wars. And I'm not saying that we, of course, need to be preparing for war. By no means am I saying that, but you need to be physically fit. If you're overweight or you're obese, how can you protect your family? How can you call yourself a real man, a real Rajal, if you are not physically able to protect your family, provide for your family, and also make sure that you're present, that you're able to play with your children, that you're able to engage your wife? You know what I mean? These are things that are obligations to us, and you should want to do these things, right? So I call anybody watching this video, don't take your health as a joke. And don't think that you have time to start tomorrow or to start next week. You know, we've all been victims, or not even victims. I don't like victim mentality. We have all been guilty of procrastinating at one point or another in our lives, whether it's our health, whether it's on starting a business, whether it's on giving sadaqah. There's so many different things that we can procrastinate on. Don't do that one more day. You know what I mean? Don't procrastinate for another day. Let's get it done now. Let's push towards our goals. Let's make sure that we're getting started on things, because tomorrow is not promised, and you do not want to be in front of Allah and know that you did not make the most out of the rest of the time you have. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's get to it. Let's get after it, brothers. Be the best version of yourselves today, not tomorrow.